Hey guys, today I was out riding my emtb that I've nicknamed Joe Cocker. It's a 2019 Meta Power, and I was out riding it with my buddy Steve English. Riding Joe Cocker with Steve English, I had to entitle this video Mad Dog and the Englishman. And that's a tribute to Joe Cocker and his Mad Dog and the Englishman album that he did in the 60s. So anyway, this is just a fun video of a couple of things Steve and I were doing out at Blankets Creek. So let's get to it. Okay, before Steve got there, I did a bit of riding, and this is South Loop. Here I am right at the furthest point on South Loop, going down a pretty chunky descent there, just hitting some rocks, roots. Really fun area, and probably the best area to me of South Loop. Right after that, you come up on a tech alt line, and that alt line takes you up on some rocks, and then there's a pretty good drop off of a rock going back onto the trail. Then I went over and did some Van Michael. These are the top part of Van Michael. These are the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday berms. A lot of fun up here. You can really lean into the front fork on these berms and get a pretty good run coming down top part of Van Michael. It's pretty fast, not really steep, but a great area. As you're going down the descent, there is a tabletop, and this is the last tabletop on Van Michael. Get a good speed, good jump there. And then on the way down on Van Michael, there's something I call the river run, and it's a pretty flowy area. It has some pretty mild berms, but you come down to a 180 berm that takes you across the river, a nice flowy section here to end up the top part of Van Michael. After you do a little climbing on Van Michael, you come back to a section, I call it the final berms, but there's some berms, and then it goes down to a root jump, which you definitely don't want to miss on Van Michael. A lot of fun. Here we go, coming down some of those berm sections. The root jump is coming up here on in just a second here, right off of these trees. Here you go. And then Steve joined me, and at this point we're just riding and dwelling. Pretty typical dwelling here, sort of an XC trail. It does have some chunky areas. Very nice trail, and we're just slogging through. But then at the furthest point on dwelling, there's some flow trails. And here I'm riding with Steve. We're going to go down a trail called Rock and Roll here, and I'm going to be following him. When you start off on this trail, there's a nice little jump into a great berm, a long flowy berm, followed by another berm. You can get some really good speed here. Now Steve's getting away. I did not have my bike in the right power setting, so he's getting away pretty good here. But still, we're relatively close together, and we're coming along. Just the first part of the flow trail. In a minute here, it's going to branch off, and we're going to go to the left down a section called Rock and Roll. But Steve's doing a great job. Here we go, going into that berm. He's setting it up, coming in for the other berms. At this point, in just a minute, you'll see me try to change my power setting on my bike. I didn't quite get it right there, but anyway, still in the wrong power. We're coming up on Mock Chicken. This is a steep, fun drop. You definitely want to do this. And here we go. Steve knocked it out of there. There he goes. Right at the end of that, you go down in a valley, and when you come flying out, there's this great step up, which is a whole lot of fun, and you definitely want to hit that on the flow trail. So we're riding along, and in a minute we stopped just for a very small mechanical. And when we did this, I now have got my bike in the right power setting, so now I'm able to keep up a little better without pedaling so hard. So here we go, once again, just continuing down rock and roll. Steve once again leading us through here. There's a couple of little small tabletops, small jumps. Sometimes on rock and roll it's hard for me to get my rhythm straight in here, but this is the end. There's some tabletops and drops coming up. Steve does a great job nailing these. There he goes right over that first tabletop. Flat curve you gotta lean into, but you also got to build up a lot of speed because there's another moderate tabletop. Steve cleared it really well. Another one, he really cleared that. Then you come in and there's a hard right, kind of flat, and now there are two drops right at the end, which are a lot of fun. He hits the first drop great, and then the next drop, great job.
Ooh, so that was a good one. I think
that's the end of rock and roll on dwelling. But then as we're coming out of dwelling, there's a log jump. There I go, hitting that. I'm just showing it, one of my favorites on dwelling. And then we go to Gingerbread, which is the big road jump at the end of dwelling. I'm going to hit it first here. I'm going to go off of it right there, down across the road. And now I'm going to come back and get a video of Steve as he comes off. I had my camera in the wrong place. Here we go. Here he comes. You can see that drop. And Steve nailed it there. He said that he bottomed out pretty hard, but he got the jump. Then we're going to go do Van Michael. And why are we going to do Van Michael one more time? Because Van Michael's a ton of fun. And these are the top berms again. Just cruising through those berms. Great area. Here's the tabletop, or the jump. That's a transitional jump. And here's the tabletop. Fun jump on Van Michael. And then these are the last berms on Van Michael. Once again, just a really fun area to whip through there. And right in here I'm going to be coming up on the root jumps coming up on that, and I'm going to hit that. There I go. Come to a screeching halt. Thanks for joining us on our ride